Hi, everyone. I'm David Aragona for the April 1st edition of Horses to Watch. On the show this week, we're taking a look back at three races from last week at Gulfstream Park. Really, the only major racing taking place last week was at Gulfstream Park, so that's where we're going to stay for this entire show. We'll discuss one race from that stacked Saturday card where they ran the Florida Derby, but also two races from the Friday card that took place one day earlier. Let's start with those races from last Friday, beginning with the sixth race. It's a maiden special weight event going a mile on the turf for some older horses, and I want to focus on a runner that's coming off a long layoff in this race. That's the number 5, Gray's Creek, and let's pick it up from the start. Gray's Creek, number 5, he's a gray horse coming out of the gate. You're going to see that he breaks fine, but his rider, Joel Rosario, just doesn't show a whole lot of aggression in the early going, not really sending this horse by any stretch to the lead. He tries to rein him in, get him in behind those early speed horses. Now, it's worth noting at this point that the eventual winner is the number 4, Azrael. That's actually the uncoupled stablemate of Gray's Creek, the other Chad Brown horse in this race, and he's going to lead this field from gate to wire. So Gray's Creek is going to have to run against the race flow, trying to make up ground into this race, and you're going to see what happens. It doesn't work out too well for him. Heading on to the backstretch, Gray's Creek is in a decent spot. Joel has him saving ground towards the inside, but you see the leaders start to back down the pace up front, and it's creating some congestion in behind horses. You see runners ranging up outside of that number 5 horse now, and he just continually starts to get shuffled back as they move down the backstretch to the point that he's all the way back in second to last as they begin to exit the backstretch, move into the far turn. Joel Rosario here, he's trying to do the right things, trying to find some place to run without losing ground by going outside of horses, but it's going to end up backfiring on him because in his insistence on trying to save ground on this horse, he's going to end up running right into the back of a horse right here. You see that horse is the number 7 is fading in front of him, and Joel Rosario is just reluctant to go outside of that horse. As he's trying to angle inside, he loses all of his momentum because he just can't get around that horse who's going in the wrong direction. And by this point in the race, Gray's Creek has just lost all chance. He's towards the back of the pack, and surprisingly, he's actually going to start to run again as they get into the final furlong here. You're only going to see him flash into the screen at the final second as they cross the wire here, that gray horse who almost gets up for third in this race. So all things considered, Gray's Creek was really ready to run this day. As I said at the top, this was his first start off a very long layoff. He'd only raced as a 2-year-old before. He raced 3 times during his juvenile season. This was his 4-year-old debut, so he had been off for well over a year. Chad Brown had tried to get him on turf a number of times as a 2-year-old, but this was his turf debut. I think he really did show an affinity for this surface, just needs to get a better trip when he shows up next time second off the layoff. Let's move on to another race on that Friday card at Gulfstream. It is the 9th race of the day, an allowance race going a mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds. This was a stacked allowance race that attracted some horses who skipped the Florida Derby to instead target this easier spot, though there was a concentration of quality in this race as well. And I want to focus on 2 horses, the number 7 Silver Ratio and the number 8 Sprawl. Let's break it from the gate because I want to show what happens to both of these horses as they exit the stalls. Number 7 Silver Ratio is the one that's going to take most of the trouble coming out of the starting gate. He's fine here, but then the field just comes over from both sides, and he gets totally steadied back out of position here. You see him throwing his head up in the air as his rider, Joel Rosario, was trying to get him to settle to get out of that trouble, but he really just took the worst of it. Now, as they move down the backstretch, let me talk a little bit about the winner of this race and the way that the track was playing Gulfstream on Friday. Throughout the dirt races that we saw on this Friday card, it really seemed like being down towards the rail was a significant advantage on the dirt, and it's no surprise then the number 1 Money Moves, who rides the rail the entire way, is going to be the eventual winner of this race. Now, note the number 7 Silver Ratio, he's in about the 2 to 3 path here, and the number 8 Sprawl, he's on the far outside of those yellow silks in about the 4 path as they move into the far turn. So neither of these horses are really on the rail for any significant portion of the race, especially not Sprawl, who you see here is moving even wider as they come around the far turn. He's going to have to swing, believe it or not, 6 wide as they come to the quarter pole to try to make his run. So not only is he against the rail bias, but he is losing significant ground making this outside run. Meanwhile, the number 7 Silver Ratio here, you see Joel Rosario is trying to motivate him in behind horses, but he just has nowhere to run, taking all of this kickback with this wall of horses in front of him. He's going to angle down to the rail here briefly, but note, he's only on it for a split second because Joel Rosario quickly gets him off it again. So he wasn't on the rail for long enough to reap the benefits of a rail bias. Meanwhile, again, the number 8 Silver Ratio is still out in the center of the track, trying to make up ground. And as is indicative of most rail biases, you're going to see the number one money moves here. Despite being under a hard drive at the quarter pole, he suddenly finds another gear and kicks away late. That's because he was re-energized by racing on that gold rail for the entire stretch drive. So I would downgrade the performance of the winner money moves a little bit, upgrade his stablemate, that number 7 Silva Ratio, who really had the toughest trouble of all, and the number 8 Sprawl, who lost all that ground going wide around the far turn against the rail bias as well. Both of those horses should do better on a fair racetrack next time out. Finally, let's move on to that Saturday card at Gulfstream. I will discuss one of the stakes races from the Florida Derby undercard. That is race number 4. It's the Cutler Bay Stakes, going a mile on the turf for the 3-year-olds. And I want to focus on the number 3 horse, Get Smokin', who was one of 2 main speed horses in this race. We can break it from the gate, and you're going to see that his rider, Amicio Jaramillo, is pretty aggressive out of the gate, trying to get Smokin' to the front end. This is a front-running type of horse, but you see the number 5 to the outside, that is Inter Miami. His rider puts him to the whip to try to get to the front here. So these two riders with the exact same plan, they end up going at it on the front end, really through just a torrid, suicidal early pace. And you're going to see these 2 horses open up a big gap on the rest of the field. In a turf route race like this, it's really difficult to go this fast up front and continue to finish off the race. And you're going to see that the number 3, Get Smoke, it actually runs a pretty remarkable race given these circumstances. Here, Amicio Jaramillo is realizing, oh, I made a bit of a mistake because somebody else had the same idea as me to go this fast to the front end. You see that opening quarter go up in 22 2/5 seconds. That's blazing, going a mile on the turf. So Amicio Jaramillo tries to rein in the number 3, Get Smokin' here to rate in behind that speed horse, but he's still going pretty quickly up front. Now the rest of the field is starting to catch up, so he's going to have to inch up and advance on that front runner again. And as they round the far turn here, you see these quick fractions continuing to get posted, but Get Smokin' is still traveling in hand for his rider. And as these horses with more momentum range up outside of him, Get Smokin' is going to accelerate once again, try to stick with these horses, and he's going to gamely maintain this lead well into deep stretch of this race. Now, the eventual winner is that horse on the far outside, Decorated Invader. Decorated Invader is one of the best 3-year-old turf horses anywhere in the country right now. He was arguably best in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf last year. So while he does win this race, he's a really good horse, and he also got the right pace setup in doing it, closing from far back, as did the number 9, South Bend. And notice the number 3, Get Smokin', refuses to yield throughout the entire stretch drive, just get pats by those horses who have more momentum built up in the final strides of this race. But he was pretty game to hold on for third here, and that horse he dueled with in the early going, Inter Miami, he faded to finish last in this race, losing by about 20 lengths. So Get Smokin' really did run a remarkable race here. Tom Bush has had him in really nice form all winter down at Gulfstream. This was his 3rd race in a row where he picked up a minor award in a stakes race. I think he was 2nd in a couple of minor stakes prior to this. 3rd here. He's really due to get the job done with a better setup in one of these races, and I think he's going to find a turf race at some point in the future with a more favorable pace setup, because speed is often dangerous on the turf, and he's got plenty of that. So those are the 3 horses to watch from this past week at Gulfstream Park. I'll be back again in the coming weeks to take a look at the racing as it comes at us with 3 more horses to watch in future episodes.